Hello there, my name is Matthew Lorenz, and today I want to talk to you about childhood obesity. The reason why I want to talk to you about childhood obesity is I want to increase awareness. It is a serious national health problem, according to Blank and Collins 2016. 17% of the global youth of living today have obesity. This information here from the CDC shows that 1 in 3 children and teens ages 2 to 19 are considered overweight or obese. Nutrition is improving within schools, but it's not improving necessarily within the home environment or within the environment in which the child is not being with someone that's an adult and they're not being watched when they're eating their diets. So I'll talk about that a little bit further down the road. Why I went on to talk about childhood obesity and how it's growing at an alarming rate. So like, what resources can we use? There's the community, there's your home and family, there's the schools, there's the internet. It's a great resource for programs to help reach out for childhood obesity and to get lots of information. When I was doing my research, I noticed online on what to do, on how to improve. A few things that I want to talk about here further down the road in my speech. What I want you to take away from the speech is how crucial we get involved and work together to ensure a bright and healthy future for our youth. A couple of reasons why I say that is that we're all aging. Generations grow, new generations come in and lead the world. And I've done research on this topic before, specifically with Latino children, and found some alarming results. And it just really kind of inspired me to dig even further, just at a general level, not just Latino children. But childhood obesity is a rising factor. I want to discuss 3, I think, is the biggest factors leading to this, and that's diet, exercise, and the home environment, and how they contribute to the health of the child. So, told you there's 3 things I want to discuss. So the first thing I really want to dive into is called, well, no, it's the diet actually. In today's world, we find a lot of families have both parents working. So that leaves the children maybe sometimes unattended for dinner. They have to cook for themselves. And that can be damaging as well for the children's health because sometimes they may eat packaged foods, high in preservatives, high in sugar, things like that. Greater obesity rates are, unfortunately, in low-income areas because they have a high density of fast food. And within low-income families, fast food, especially chains like McDonald's, are a great resource for quick food at a cheap value, basically. According to Eagle, Schertz, Guam, Woodstock, Klein Rogers, and Lebowski 2012, that was who found the obesity rates were higher in the lower income areas because of the density of fast food chains. Children alone preparing food for themselves, again, is something that I mentioned when I started talking about this. And sometimes children can be left alone and eat healthy and others will not. So that can contribute as well to children being obese. No healthy snacks for the children are being provided. Prepackaged foods, high in sugar and carbs, again, unhealthy ingredients. But there's other things that we can do within the diet of the children that parental factors can involve, but I'll talk about that more down the road in the home environment part of my speech here. So I want to move on to exercise, and that's a big part of my research as well, was exercise in the home. So back to what I showed you earlier about the CDC. 2 out of 3 don't get any physical exercise. 2 out of 3. That's amazing. 96% of elementary schools offer no physical education courses because of budget cuts. And another thing I want to discuss is hours spent in front of the time of TV. It says on the average 7 hours is being spent on the television in one day on the average. It's amazing. Sedentary behaviors prevent children from exercising. Number of hours watching TV, videos, computer games, video games, and so on. According to Lear, Jones, Son, Probst, Merchant, and Caviccia 2012, that's where I found that from. So back to this again, 7 hours daily, 96%, 2 out of 3. Those are really high numbers of children that aren't getting exercise, that aren't getting exercise in school anymore, that are in front of a television or a tablet or some media device. Parents are not at home consistently. Children are less active. They are just surrounded with technology on their mobile devices, tablets, whatever device they're using, which is readily available. These younger generations have been noticed not to be exercised. Like back when I was a child and growing up, we didn't have the technology, so we played outside. That is less common these days to see children actively and willingly wanting to play outside. So now that I've spoken about diet and exercise, I want to talk about the home environment and how that affects obesity. Factors such as parenting styles, and things, parental controls, like setting limits on intake of unhealthy foods, is a contributing factor, and the parents don't even realize they're probably doing it. Sometimes the daily dietary and physical activity is controlled by the parents, so that can be the overarching results is that the child becomes obese because they don't get the diet and the exercise that they need coming from that parent. Permission and indulgent parenting styles. So what I mean by that is low demands for the child's self-control, but lots of warmth. So the parents are more likely to give in to what the child's wants or desires are. If the child wants candy, the parents are more likely to give in to the candy. And that just really causes a lot of problems down the road when it comes to controlling the child's diet. Children at or below poverty level, eating unhealthy foods and fast food quite often due to the resources that they have. Sometimes it's all that's available, and that can lead to a lot of problems with obesity as well. Parents over-concerned with child going hungry or being undernutritioned. So there are parents out there that feel that their child may not be getting enough to eat, so they overcompensate by making sure the child gets plenty to eat. So anytime the child asks for food, they get what they want regardless if it's healthy or not. And that's become an issue as well. So the greatest common factor I've found between children who are obese, based on my research, is diet, exercise, and home environment. We need to act on diets. We need to be more aware of what our children are eating daily. We need to know what they're eating for breakfast, lunch, dinner, making sure they're getting the portions that they need and the nutrition that they need to be growing and healthy. We need to act on exercise. We need to get children more involved with exercise programs. Maybe after school, before the parents come home from work, they can get involved in their community YMCA or something like that to help increase the physical activity of the children, and not just sitting at home and watching a device or waiting for the parents to get home and maybe eating dinner out. Maybe this can change the whole home environment and culture as far as the diet and exercise. So we want to change the mindset of parents' perspectives on child's eating habits as well. We want them to understand what the children intakes and eats on a daily basis, regardless of what is available and what time and resources are, how they're valuable these days, with sometimes both parents working in a very busy lifestyle where children are involved in activities outside of the home. We need to give them the tools and resources needed to pursue better lives. We need to prepare our children for a future that's worth living and one that they'll be successful in and lead us as older adults into the future. So we need to put a lot of pride and value in research, and not only that, but just increasing awareness around childhood obesity. Thank you so much.